Okay, this is 252 Pop Fiction, where you'll find all the news and reviews in pop culture that's right to type. Today's top story, Frank G.
During this time of quarantine, AMC theaters have announced that they may not be able to reopen due to credit score decline during COVID-19 and general lack of income all around.
All around. I actually put in here too. It didn't come up that also not just with our one of my favorite movie theaters may not reopen, but Diamond Distribution, the comic book stores,
sure,
they're closing their doors. So all the little comic book stores are not getting books anymore.
Right. They plan to reopen things when it gets going, but the point being, a lot of these little stores that are living day to day might not be there to be serviced when they reopen.
Right. And I know we have our local store here, and then there's another one in Vacaville. But I'm like, it's not like we've been able to get out and go.
Well, it's not like the old days either. Where there used to be comics everywhere. Where it's now very much a small audience. And when you remove that audience, because they broke it down to that one distribution company, everything goes through Diamond. It used to have multiple. So now when one thing goes wrong like this, it shuts down everything. And I know a lot of those small comic shops, those guys don't have a lot of margin. There's no money to play with.
Yeah, nothing at all. And speaking of comics, a viral video appeared showing Flash and Fantastic Beasts star Ezra Miller choking and throwing a female fan to the ground. I think
did you see the video? It looked to me like one of those sense of red dread kind of fighting. It was like, I will throw you to the ground with my other hand holding you safely.
Yeah.
I did see the person filming it had a reaction as if there was some serious thing going on. So I don't know. Maybe the guy shooting it was, who knows? Could have been all whatever. I have no idea what's going on there. I don't even know who the hell Ezra Miller is, so I don't have a stake in this game.
Well, I actually have been one of the very few people still on this planet that is waiting for this Flash movie to happen. And I was actually happy when Ezra Miller showed up on the Flash TV series when our Barry Allen, Grant Gustin on the show was going through all the multiverses, and he ran into the Ezra Miller Flash from the DCEU. And that was kind of like, oh, wow, all right. He's still in the costume. They're still doing their thing. They keep saying this movie was supposed to come out, 3 years ago?
Oh, wow, really?
And now it's like because they even had that one part, which I believe it was supposed to be part of the movie that was in, which one was it? Was it Dawn of Justice, when it was like, the key is Lois, Lois is the key. And he kind of popped in that one briefly. So
I don't know. The video, there's people that saw that video that are screaming for him to be removed from the project and such. And then there's other people that go, well, I'm not sure what I'm even looking at. We need more information on this one.
Yeah.
If he grabbed that girl and threw her to the ground violently, he probably should not be doing things on movie sets. But if they were play acting for the camera, then that's a different story.
Yeah. And it did happen in Iceland, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now you have a language barrier. Maybe one of them thought they were playing and the other one took it seriously. Yeah. San Diego Comicon appears to be currently weighing their options and seeing exactly what a cancellation will mean for them. There's no doubt they'll be back next year, but it's a matter of time until they announce what their plan will actually be. Another thing shut down because who wants to gather in a building full of 30,000 people?
Exactly, and I bring this one up because Big Tom is, he has his tickets. He's gone, I think, the last 3 years.
Oh, wow.
So he already has his tickets, and he's going. So that's their thing in July, and he's kind of like, well, as of right now, they're still going, but also as of right now, as we're filming this, we just heard yesterday that they're extending the quarantine to now May 15th, at least here in California. We're extending now until May 15th.
Until the 1st at the moment, but they'll keep extending. Every 2 weeks they chuck on some more as to not stir people up too badly.
Yeah, I feel like because they also just last Monday, the school board got together and they decided that They are definitely not having the students return to school, but they do now are having an online curriculum. Mm. So my boys, who already thought they were done with school because they were like, hey, we're not coming back. We thought they were just going to do an automatic pass for everyone. But now they have to be online 35 to 40 minutes per class, you know.
Actually, they're counting it. They have some online stuff available here, but they did give them you're already done for the year, but you should do this so that you don't, fall behind and forget what you're doing. But they've already got
they were doing here, and they just had but it was like extra credit assignments. Like it was just like little packets, little work packets and stuff. It wasn't actually like the curriculum. It wasn't like, okay, what are we learning now? So I guess now, but they sent that out. And they also said, so you have class for this, but now spring break is now starting, so school won't come back until the 17th or something like that. So we were like, well, do we have to sign up for this week or what's going on?
That's just going to turn to lawsuit. What happens if the student doesn't go log on to the thing or whatever because parents didn't pay for the internet this month or whatever happens?
Exactly. Or just bottom line, they don't have access to the internet. We don't have. They were saying
they don't have free, right?
They were saying some of the Chromebooks have already installed data. I don't know,
like 4G or something.
Yeah, maybe.
That's cool. I'm sorry. But it's like you can't even use the old. You can go to the library excuse because you can't.
Yeah, you can't even do that.
So here they said we're going to try to keep you educated, but you've already the seniors have already graduated for the year. In fact, they graduated a bunch of medical students here early so they could go and be, doctors instead and nurses and whatever.
Yeah.
We need you. You're called up early.
Call in the righty. This week's review, Anna. Beneath a woman's striking beauty lies a secret that will unleash her strength and skill to become one of the most feared assassins on the planet. Now, this movie actually came out in 2019. I just watched it because I'm watching just an abundance of things right now. It was sort of Black Widow-ish, instead of the ballerina. She was a model, like she was in Paris, and she had roommates who were all these other models and doing high fashion models, but she also worked for the KGB, and she was a skilled assassin. So it takes place between 1985 and 1990, so you still get a little bit of that, the wall, like when we still really had, Cold War going on. So it was kind of interesting. The only real stars in it was like Helen Mirren, Luke Evans, and I keep messing up his name. I want to say it's Cillian Murphy. Cillian?
I believe it is.
Yes.
That guy, the Scarecrow.
That guy, the Scarecrow guy. Yeah. But everybody else in the cast was a bunch of Euros. But I really enjoyed it. Action timing. Again, it's one of those things where I felt like it got a little too smart for itself. So in the third act, there was the twist on the twist. But all things considered, all together, for a movie that I don't even remember even seeing a trailer for, when you're stuck at home and you can't do anything else, I recommend that you see Anna.
Yeah, I was thinking this was that movie where she was like an android or something. It's like, which movie was that? Not Ghost in the Shell, the other one where she was an android.
What was it? Ex Machina, maybe?
I don't know. No. She plays a lot of androids and spies, I'll tell you that. Like, what can we cast her as that will require tight leather pants?
I was actually getting it when I first saw it. I got it confused with Hannah. Because I was like, isn't that the one with the little girl? Like the whole time I'm watching it, isn't this supposed to be a little girl that turns into an assassin? But it was.
Like we need more creative titles, Hollywood. We're getting things mixed together.
Thanks, Obama. No, I don't even know why I said that.
Well, I've heard he is a Hollywood elitist. Academy Award winning Barack Obama. Well, Frank G recommends Old Ass TV. Since the real world is entirely too heavy right now, why not escape to some vintage television? Vacation in a time when our biggest concerns were about Fonzie's disassembled motorcycle, Marsha's busted nose, and whether or not Ward was being too hard on the beaver. We need Ralphie D for this commentary.
I'm about to say the dirtiest thing ever said on television.
Yes, exactly. The time when TV cops were courteous and thoughtful and knew people in the neighborhood, and the doctors never lost a patient. We're more in touch with the 80s shows. That was when we were growing up. But I'll recommend the 60s and 70s shows, or at least that 70s show, for maximum therapeutic value in 2020. Slight bits of reality crept into the 80s shows. We'd get those very special episodes that were like, when shocking things would happen. And things were a little too real, but they never covered that stuff in the 60s. So, you remember that kind of thing? Like, exactly. Any show that was black and white, there was never anything too serious going on, unless it was cowboys and Indians, and I didn't watch those.
Yeah. Every now and then I would watch the Dobie Gillis, and of course the Gilligan's Island and the stuff like that.
Well, I guess they technically had a problem. They were stuck on an island, but of all the islands to be stuck on, they seemed to have everything they ever needed.
Yes.
Like, I made a television out of these coconuts and some bamboo.
Yeah. Can anybody make a boat?
The one thing the professor could not do.
Yeah.
He skipped that day at school.
Well, like I said, just to double back on it, you're right. I mean, there's so much content out there, and there's a lot of platforms that are actually, there's a lot of, apps and stuff that's offering a lot of free TV. So there's things like Pluto, and there's a couple. I just had a whole
There's a bunch of those too. And
there's a bunch of them. It's just like free TV. Get the app, boom, watch it. You can just enjoy just a couple, take your mind off of things for right now, of all the craziness, because I think it's probably going to get a little worse before it gets any better. And I do honestly believe that our new normal may have to do a lot more with either social distancing. It may be more mandatory to be out in public with a mask on. And it's really not really protecting you. It's just to keeping others,
keep your germs to yourself, people.
Keep it to yourself. Yeah, exactly. Not like because none of these masks out here are really like respiratory, like sealed masks. They're just more like keep your own cooties with you, and then don't have anything so you're not touching your face. So if you happen to touch something, that's bad. But sooner rather than later, by the end of this year, early next year, they should have a vaccine. And for those of us who believe in vaccinations, we'll be vaccinated and we don't have to worry about this anymore. And for those who don't, Godspeed.
For those who don't, there will be a lot less people spreading it around, right? So, it's still better either way.
Like measles.
Yeah, exactly. But although that stuff seems to be making a comeback, that was gone when we were kids.
Yes, and now it's coming back because people don't believe it. But I don't want to get into a whole thing. I'm just going to say I'm Kawada Kurt. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I'm Frank G, and that's news to me.
We'd like to hear what you think. Leave us a comment down below and let your opinion be heard.
And if you like this video, please check out our other videos on our channel like 252 and Nerdstalgia.
And with that, sometimes you just have to roll the hard 6. And this is 252 Pop Fiction, where you'll hear it first.
Or eventually.
Adonis, pull yourself together.